Hi, everybody. Welcome to Buzzing About Romance, a quick shot of romance. And on this quick shot of romance, I am joined by Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Leah.
And we are reviewing Before This Ends by Aurora Rose Reynolds. We will link the synopsis of the book in our on the shelf show notes at buzzingabout.romance.com. So a little bit of info about the book. So the release date is March 25th. 2024. The tropes are single dad, found family, slow burn-ish, and floof in charge.
Yeah.
This is from the Before series. It is book 2, and it is a series of standalones. You do not have to read book 1 for book 2, but you should because it's delightful. And honestly,
You
if you
should.
read, you should read Until Willow first because this is where you meet all the brothers, and then you can read Tucker and Miranda's story, and then Miles. But that's just a little side thing. It
Yeah.
is told in dual first-person point of view, and the put-out percentage is 59%. And at this point, there is no audiobook, but I'm sure there will be eventually because Aurora Rose Reynolds 99% of the time gives us an audiobook. And there was no third act breakup in this book, which she doesn't typically have a traditional third act breakup.
No, she does a lot of times she does outside conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't even really that this time. But
No,
Emma had a little bit of a freak out. So maybe I would, if anything, I would say there's like a freak out moment, but
but
that's it.
but it
It's very
honestly,
small.
well, and the freak out was like a night. Like
Yeah, I don't even think it
it
was
wasn't
even
even
a
a night.
night.
It was like a
It
couple.
was like a few minutes, but still.
Yeah. Yeah. So this story, like really the way that it plays out, um, there like Miles is working a case, like his ex has some issues, Emma has some hangups, but aside from that, like there's there's not a lot of angst, which is
No.
surprising because sh there's always some angst. It's never forced, it's never unnecessary, but like this one, it kind of flows really smoothly, but I loved the way their story played out.
Yeah, I wasn't missing it. I didn't think it needed it. It was still a complete story with a believable HEA without
Oh, yeah.
the angst.
1000%. But so the story actually opens up. So Emma is in a relationship when the story opens up. Like she lives with her boyfriend Eli and she goes home, like, and things are just kind of meh. Like they're not moving forward. They're just kind of content.
Yeah, and they've been together 3 years
Yeah.
at this point.
But she's realizing that maybe she's not as content as she thought she was because they go out with friends, and this happens in like within the first chapter, so no spoilers
Hmm.
here. They go out with friends who just got engaged, and the woman of the relationship looks at them and is like, well, when is that going to happen? And the boyfriend Eli is like, we're good the way we are.
Yeah.
And Emma's like, but
Are
are
we?
we?
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to tell her that he never wants kids.
Yes.
And
Knowing that she wants kids.
Emma really wants kids. Like she wants that family. She wants to be needed. Like she needs to
Yes.
be needed. She needs to be helpful. And I think that was one of the big parts of like Emma's love language is caring.
Yes, it is.
Like the
100%.
way in which she cares and how she shows she cares. Like it is taking the time to like because she's a stylist, like she does hair for a living. But the treatment that she gives the people in her lives, like, is how she shows she loves them. And I think that her character, like she's somewhat soft, but she's not naive. She's not dumb. She is not a doormat. Like
No, and
she,
she steps up as well because she gets in like in the face of someone attacking Miranda and
oh yeah.
yeah, I mean she's not, yeah, she can come to bat when she needs to.
Well, that's the thing. Like I say soft, but not in a bad way. She's just very
Yeah.
tender-hearted. But so the book opens up with them breaking up, or not really breaking up, but saying like we need to take some time. So it's been like as it progresses, like a couple months pass, and she realizes that things are not going to change. He is not going to change. Like, what is she waiting for? And Miranda even says, like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, it's not going to make a difference. Like in 2 more months, like you're still going to be where you are right now.
Yeah, it's not going to change
So
for Eli.
Yeah. And so like she's like, okay, we're done. Like we're moving away from each other, like because this is the best decision for both of us. And so she is out meeting with Eli, like when like these decisions are made. And she sees Miles at the bar with a date. And she's like, because she has been meeting with Miles and his family like more often since Miranda is with his brother. And
Yes.
so like they've created somewhat of a friendship because they're around each other a lot.
Yeah, they hang out a lot.
But and it's one of those things where they have this kind of instant connection. But since she is in, like, had just gotten out of this relationship, like, she didn't acknowledge, like, the attraction or reaction to him, which I thought was very nice that it was treated that way.
Yeah, because she's still processing what happened with Eli. So
Hmm.
she's not even registering that. And then also too, Miles is very aware of where she's at, and that also if anything were to ever happen with their attraction, that it gets sticky because their lives are very intertwined now.
Yeah, and that is actually one of his hangups. But as any Aurora Reynolds heroine or hero goes, like when he decides he's in, he is all in, and there is
Yeah,
no going back.
he gets over it really quick.
Yeah, and so like as the story progresses, I've said that quite a bit today,
That's
but as it goes, like the night that he saw her when he was on that date is the night where he's like, "Yep, I'm gonna go for this." And so he hoes this chick. It's like, "I'm done
yeah.
with you. Goodbye, sayonara." And he does not hold back.
Yeah. And Miles is a single dad too. So
Yes,
his daughter Winter is adorable, and he needs
I
a
love
little help with her childcare. So Emma,
her.
as being Emma, who loves to help people and
Hmm.
do that as her love language, like she offers to help.
She
Um,
does.
and
Yeah.
that gets them a little
Well,
closer,
it gets him
and
the in.
yeah, it gets him the in, and it allows her to get a little closer to him without realizing that she's falling for him.
Yeah, well, and Winter is like she loves Emma. Like Emma's been
Yes,
around them. She's not even precocious. Like she's not one of those like kids who you're like, man, she's gonna be a troublemaker, but she's adorable.
she is. And she's like a little sassy, but not
Hmm.
over the top. Like
Oh
she
yeah.
knows just exactly how much to sass.
Like
It's funny.
she knows the lines, but she is spoiled, but in the
Hmm.
best way. Like she doesn't come
She
across
is.
as a spoiled little twit, but she's loved and she's loved hard and she feels
Yes.
that. And so she loves hard.
Yeah. And she loves Emma.
Oh, she loves Emma. But so yeah, Emma like helps out and then she just kind of never leaves.
Yeah. And then it really just kind of flows. And like you said, there's not a lot of angst. Like they have some things to get through. Like she has
Hmm.
some grief that she's
Never dealt
still
with.
dealing with, or yeah, never dealt with, I guess.
Yeah.
And and then he has things in his past that he's finally opening up to her about, and it really just flows. Like,
It does. It flows so well. And but one thing I like is so his ex, who is Hazel or is Winter's mom is Hazel. Hazel lives in Colorado. They tried the relationship thing at first. They're better off as friends and they co-parent like champs. Like,
yes,
because if you read Until Willow and before this um before we fall
yes,
they are co-parent champs like even with her being in a different state but Hazel is married like she has gotten remarried and so she is in a relationship but Hazel does not deal well with the fact that Miles is dating Emma and she does not hide that but man Miles lets her have it.
oh yeah, he shuts that right down.
He does, and I appreciate that. Like and he doesn't necessarily say it to her, but he's like he had some hangups like when she was dating her now husband. Like, and there's a moment later in the book where she happens to be in town, and she does something a little crappy
Yep,
after this, you know what I mean?
yep,
And everybody just kind of lets it go, which is fine because I think Emma understands like it's hard.
Yeah, the hang up is not about Miles. The hang up is about her being a mother figure in Winter's life
Yeah.
when she, because she can't be there all the time.
Yeah, because there's a moment where Miles and Emma and Winter are standing there talking, and Hazel is watching. And he even says, he's like, I've seen that face before because it was on my face, like when he witnessed the same thing with her husband and Winter and her. And so it's like there's this feeling of like this is a family unit. I'm part of the family, but I'm not part of the family at the same time.
Yeah. And
And
I
but
really like how she dealt with that.
I do too. And I mean, I am still with my husband, who is the father of my kids. So, like, I don't know how that feels, but I can imagine, like, if you are not with your spouse any longer and you have children, and somebody comes in who you can clearly see that your child is in love with, like,
Yeah.
loves, 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 and treats them great, like, you're gonna appreciate that, but it's also gonna hurt your heart.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But I think she treats it with such care. And I think that is one thing. Like, yes, she has a couple crappy moments, but she's not this vindictive ex who creates problems.
No, she's not. It's not that other woman drama at all.
Like, yeah,
And you still like Hazel by the time this is done, like because I liked her in the previous books.
I did too. And I didn't love her in those moments, but then it's like as the
Yeah.
book goes and like you hear like Miles is in her thoughts about her relationship, you can understand where she's coming from. But I love the fact that the ex is not the antagonist. Like there's
Yes.
like yes, their relationship is awkward and stilted, but like once you get to the epilogue, like they've worked through that,
Yep.
which I really liked this epilogue.
Oh, this epilogue is so good.
And Becky, if
So
you're
good.
listening, you need to read this epilogue
I
because
think
it's
she had to
delightful.
read it. I think she had to read it.
I think she did too, but had she not had to, she should have done it by
We would have
choice.
told her to.
We would
Yeah.
have, or Melanie Moreland would have put her in an epilogue and killed her off. But but so there's this one thing that Emma does at one point in the book, and it's probably about halfway through, or maybe it's even farther than that. But they're laying in bed. I think they're laying in bed the first time it happens. And she's like, tell me something I don't know about you. Man, that gets me every single
It
time.
it did me too. Like I had that down like in my notes too. I looked at your notes and I was like, oh, we have the same thing in the notes because yeah, every time. And he loves it too. I think it
He
also
does.
he's like, and then they continue it. It continues, it becomes a theme,
Mm-hmm.
and something that they say to each other, and
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, and it's one of those things where it's like, so she says it, like he tells her, and then without thought, she answers the same question that he did. And it's this great way of them getting to know each other in an organic way, but like creating this really intimate moment that can
Yes,
go
because
on
their
over and
relationship,
over
yeah, because their relationship does move a little fast, even though they've known each other
for a few
before.
months.
But
Yeah.
in Aurora's books, like they tend to move fast, like you
Oh, they
said, when
do.
when the guys know, they know. So this gives Emma a way to rationalize why it's moving so fast, or that
Well,
they're still
and
getting to know each other.
there are other parts to it as well. Like Miles, there are things in his past because he was
Yes,
ended up being a foster kid, which is where he met Tucker and Dayton
Dayton and Clay.
and Clay. I always forget Dayton's name. Like I know it's like D and a ton, but I don't remember the middle part. But so the four of them met in foster care, and so like that's where they created this found family that we've talked about, which she does an excellent job with this found family because like when
Yes,
you're reading the book you don't realize that they are not actual brothers.
yeah,
But so he tells her things from his past that only the brothers know.
yeah,
Like he is never, like Hazel doesn't know it. And that right there, like showed me like this is how like he knows like it down to his soul that this girl is going to be the one that he's with because he had no hangups about telling her.
yep, yep. She's his boom.
She is his boom. And the corner kisses, like the mouth kisses, but
Gosh.
just the corner of the mouth. Like this is a micro trope that I really love.
Oh, they slayed me.
Oh, he's just so swoony.
He is. He really, really is. And then also too, because like you get the brothers too, and there's a moment with Clay, who is, I think Clay and Winter are my favorite in the Until series. So
Glenn
like,
Willow, you mean?
yeah, what did I say? Winter?
Winter. I mean,
No, Willow. Yeah,
there's a
sorry,
winter.
The W
It
had me
throws you
there, but
off.
yes. But yeah,
I do
so
really
like
like their book. Yes, I agree.
I think that's one of my favorites. But you know, you get the whole dynamic of his brothers in this book as well.
Hmm.
And like they feed into it. They're like, oh yeah, you're done. Like she's it for you. Like, are we
Yeah.
he's like, are we rolling? Are we gonna go do this?
Yeah.
So I don't
Well,
know.
and they kind of give
I
him
love it.
some shit like before, like when she starts watching Winter, he's not on the fence, but he's on the fence at the same time. But the brothers are
Yeah.
like, yeah, like what are you doing? Just
No.
lock that down, basically, which I think is just delightful.
Yes.
But let's
So
talk about the floofs before we finish.
oh yeah, yeah.
So Sky is Willow and Clay's dog, and when Emma first sees her, she is terrified of her because she's like this big dog.
Yeah. Like husky, right? Or
I
something like that. She's a large, like wolf-like dog, I
I
think.
think she's one of those like wolfhounds, like the
Oh,
furry
okay.
wolfhounds, but don't
Oh,
quote me
okay.
on that because I don't remember and I didn't write it
Yeah.
down.
She's a
But
large dog.
she's very large, but she is a fur ball of delightful and lovingness, and she's like the softest, like the kids. So Kingston is Miranda's son, and then Winter, but so the kids basically can like lay on her
Hmm.
and love on her, and she's a gentle giant. And then we have Dolly, who is this tiny little fluff ball of energy. And so it was Eli's dog,
Yes.
but Emma loved her. But when they broke up, Eli kept her. But so we find out that Eli is moving. Spoiler, sorry, friends.
Yeah.
So that doesn't pertain to the story. But so
No.
aside from the fact that like, she gets the dog because he can't take the dog, so he gives Dolly to Emma. Emma brings Dolly to Miles and Winter's place, and Winter's like, oh, ooh, a puppy, and
Yeah.
basically steals the dog. Like
Yeah.
she is
And
no
Miles
longer
is like, no,
Emma's.
no, no, no. And then
And then
he
he's like,
sees Winter with the dog and he's like, okay, whatever.
yeah, he's like, I have no choice here. Like
Yeah.
majority rules. Like, so they get the dog. And but that's the thing, he's such a sucker. Because she
Yeah.
knew. She
And
knew
there's this
taking that
scene.
dog there.
Yeah. And there's a scene where it's described where he's holding the dog like in his arm like a baby. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, you're done for.
See, that's why my youngest wants a little dog because she wants to be able to carry it around all the time.
Yeah.
We don't have a
No.
little dog. She cannot pick him up. He weighs almost as much as she does. Um, but she wants a little one so she can pick it up all the time. But yeah, so we have Sky, like the giant monster, and then Dolly, who is like tiny. But Dolly and Winter, like they become each other's person.
Oh yeah. BFFs like right
Hmm.
away. So
But yeah, this is a book that you won't want to put down. Like,
nope.
and but the character development is there. Like the characters grow together. Like there are moments where like Winter, like as a child character, like she develops, like
Yeah.
it's there, nobody's stagnant in this book, and I think that's great
Yeah. I loved it. So this was one of my most anticipated books
for
in
the
March and it
year.
did not disappoint. Yeah.
It really didn't. And honestly, like I've there's been a couple Aurora Rose Reynolds books where I'm like, this is good, but it's not my favorite. This lady has hit her stride. Like she is
Yeah.
back full force, like writing what she loves. And it really shows on the page.
Yeah. And I'm desperate for Dayton now. So
Oh man, he's gonna be so good because he's so like, I'm not getting married, I'm not having kids,
yep.
like very like anti, and I can't wait for his backstory. I think that
Yeah.
is one of my biggest things. And also, Aurora Rose Reynolds, if you're listening, Leah still needs a book because there were so many people that really thought that she was gonna put
Yes.
Leah and Miles together. But as like I was reading this book, I was like, oh man, Emma was perfect for him. But Leah, who is Willow's
She
best,
is.
maybe Leah and Dayton will be together.
Maybe. I don't know, but yeah, I need both of them. So if they're
Or
not
maybe
together, then I need two books.
Yeah, if I don't get a Leah book,
Oh,
I
I
may
know.
revolt.
I'm gonna riot. So
I might riot. I
Yeah.
may just slide into her DMs with some words. I wouldn't do that because she's actually like the sweetest human being in the world,
Yeah.
and I would
Yeah,
not
yeah.
ever say anything negative to her.
Yeah, we'll just politely beg, please.
I mean, everybody does. Like, you can't name a character and have her be that big of a character and then not give her a book.
Oh,
It's
I
just
know.
not right.
Nope.
If you know, you know, people. Okay. Thank you, Amanda, for joining me on this quick shot of romance.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, do you have a book you think we should review for a quick shot? If you do, send us an email at thebees@bookcaseandcoffee.com. And until next time, happy reading, everybody.
Find us on Instagram at buzzingaboutromance or on Twitter at buzzingromance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.